Ding, ding. InShalla and Ashe, we are live. Blessings to you, my energetic beings. It's Tonya D, holistic medium and subtle energy surgeon. So I utilize indigenous technologies and different alternative methods, not just for healing, because I believe the word itself, healing, is much larger than we actually, we kind of put a scope around it or a boundary or something crazy, but I think it's much larger than we generally think it is. There's forces of adversity, there's challenges that appear in this reality and many others. So it kind of takes a container to shift the narrative. So whatever that is for you or what you might be coming up against, sometimes it might feel like you're hitting a brick wall or maybe you've hit the ceiling. So we're really always in these different cycles of change. Even my podcast for today, you could find it on my website, tonyad.tv, or at my club, my Musing Corridor. But I mused about the wisdom in the elements as forces of creation in a variety of ways. And the muse actually came up for me from one of my oracle decks, spiritual cards. So we all have this galactic center that that actually, you know, we literally told God universe what we would accomplish in this lifetime, in this earth journey. So myself, I literally told God I would emotionally disrupt those that are probably asshats. So I generally, in some form, can make people kind of uncomfortable in their skin, or also the opposite works as well. So I give you something to muse about in your personal narrative, whatever that story is. And ultimately, I really want to shift my village to an optimistic venue, staying literally in the frequency of higher love, our higher self, what's called our Sira in the Dagara. Often, you know, what I call the God channel. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe and echo it out into the realm of your village or your tribe and ring the bell. You know, I sometimes see this algorithm thing as like a bump in the field or in the timelines. If you missed my show yesterday, I kind of felt maybe you should watch that first before you tune into today's show, or after. That's perfectly fine as well. But today is the day of the Supra Love, the SupraLuminal channel. So if you could imagine in your eye of God or your third eye, those are different eyes, by the way, but just go ahead and imagine negative energy, not as a bad or in a bad energy kind of way, but more of a pull in your life force instead of a push of your life force, pushing it out of you kind of way. So it's where we have a pulling in of life energy. So like yesterday when I talked about the good and the good and the bad and the good, these forces of adversity aren't always adverse. It's kind of a narrative. So we're really upcycling our story, our love channel. Whatever or wherever it isn't in resonance with you is actually going to fall away. It's just time to release it. So you can pull into you the energy that's actually going to upcycle you in that optimistic venue. So if you have yet really to browse my library and my Musing Club, please do. I literally have baby steps to intermediate, and the advanced actually is going to be in a membership area that I'm creating. It's in the works right now. I'm super excited about that little venue. But before I muse any further, today's 4-pillar energy is this being energy or yang fire with a monkey on the branch. And you can actually see, looking at it, you can see that both the month and the day literally have the exact same elements. So we also have hidden elements of water and earth in the branches that you can see below there, from the month, the very bottom, the day, the very bottom, and the year itself. The ox, the yin energy. So we have a lot of yin, and we actually have too much yang energy. Yang energy is more of our lifestyle in the outer world, where yin energy, our inner world, is more our constitution of our inner body, our inner world. But the fire on the month stem is giving some energy to our day master, but ultimately we need the element of wood to nurture the day. So if I was doing a reading, I would really suggest that this person bathe themselves in plants or in nature, the east direction to nurture and support them in that element. A fire day master represents all of the aspects of spirit, the emotions of joy and also of love, you know, and also the opposing forces, which I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. It's the element of earth. That's what they produce. So they're very nurturing in their production of things. They're pretty balanced when they tune into the energy of earth to bring in that balance. They actually need the vitality from the element of wood. The energy of wood could be a wood nature spirit, any animal actually, the Wetamaze. So if I was going to be doing an energetic session, working through the skin, because that's what I do, I would probably work on the element of wood along with the element of fire. I would balance both the wood and the fire acupuncture points with light and also vibration or the sound and the cosmology of the elemental realm. And also, like, I would put light on the heart center. I'd probably work with greens. I'd also work with red on the root center, the solar plexus as well, bring in some yellow. Definitely, for sure, the root as well. So today, the cosmic energy is one of our feelings and our heart, where they're actually wired as a conduit naturally to like take in and absorb and or really just kind of pull everything that crosses our path into our beingness. So you might feel like you're sensitive to the energy of people today, the environments, even certain foods or light. And it, you know, sound even for that matter. You could be sensitive to sounds. I really love the sound of silence. I don't even listen to music in my car. It's kind of funny. So today I would really suggest that you avoid harsh environments in any way. Anything that will make you feel as if you are entangled in a web, intense people, overly crowded situations or places. Honestly, even overly crowded online Zooms or a virtual show, there's a lot of energy in there, you know, the virtual realities, right? So this energy is actually tied to our heart center. So if it's disrupting your field to your heart, it would really be wise to like avoid anything that you might find to really be disturbing to your love channel. So be kind to yourself, be gentle to yourself. And on the grander scale or the galactic scale, our heart literally is opening and really pulling in different options that we can weigh for our future, whatever that looks like. So it'd be things like, do I want to live in a cabin in the woods? Or do I truly love my career? Do I want to create my own coffee shop business? Anything like that. So those are questions you could marinate on a day like today. So it's really a day to open up our channel to our heart, to all of the different ideas and scenarios, all the possibilities really on your platter of love, your cosmic soup bowl with all of the flavors and all of the ingredients. So when I say that, it's like, do you want to add in a dash of love, a dash of joy, a little bit of peace, you know, whatever it is that you want to bring into your cosmic soup bowl. So you could actually even carve out, you know, a specific time, set time aside, and just consciously focus on all of these scenarios that you authentically have for your future. You could sit with each scene or scenario and vision. It'd be like the frequency channel, you know, you're going to feel into if you actually belong or maybe you don't belong in a scenario or two. So you can just kind of float into your visions, your visuals, and literally wait for a feeling to bubble up because it's going to show you if you belong in that scenery, that station. So my love channel itself, it's changing and it's shifting. I'm bumping up my galactic narrative, absolutely. But what happens is I do this, it's like if your heart authentically belongs moving in a certain path or a direction, you know, the flow, you're going to actually have this beacon, this movie scene in a way where you're really watching from outside of yourself, and your heart, literally, it'll begin to open up. It gets excited. You might have this burst of creativity or insight, just a higher frequency vibration solution. And because we're in the last few days of the season of Leo, by the way, if you have yet to subscribe to my newsletter or even just my Musing Moon meditation, I am literally probably on fire, super stoked about this full moon on Sunday. So that'll be ready this week as well. So I'm going to probably more than likely be taking this meditation to what's called the SupraLuminal direction of the galactic universal love in the channel. So absolutely 100% be sure to engage in this one. It really makes for this incredible insight or an octave of, different creativity that's otherworldly. So this is actually one of the most creative days of the year today, this day, into actually tomorrow as well. I have the sun, Leo, this degree right now is conjunct one of my asteroids. So I really am in this next level already, just meeting that upgraded cycle of upcycling myself. So, it's time to really get out of the cosmic web and create different options, new frequencies, something you might have already thought of or upcycled on. And, you could even choose a new option. So in reality, or what it might feel like, it's the essence of the year where we don't settle in or compromise or allow our wishes, our dreams, our fountain to fall to the wayside, to put it in the background, or the last scene, if you will. So if the options you have literally in front of you aren't upcycling your love channel, making you feel all juicy inside and bubbling over, it's like being a lion and roaring or pouncing them out, and really just go ahead and create your own path authentically. And ultimately what happens is if your heart loves it, you'll know you're on the right path. So you can literally just soak up the rays of love like you're soaking up the sun. And then you get to weigh your thoughts, go tipsy-turvy and see if your heart really opens up to the future and what it is you want to create, if that really makes your spirit soar. And I like to just observe in what I call the observation station, what ideas that my heart will open up to and maybe why. And for me, I prefer to just stay seriously in the optimistic venue, the positives. I see lots of creators that say to talk to people's pains and their fears. And honestly, we all know that they are there, so it's a way of just asking yourself, how can I really upcycle my love narrative and just get ready to get out of the gutter? I choose to not go down the rabbit hole. It's not that it doesn't exist, but I want to stay in the other frequency, or maybe follow the white rabbit over the black one. So I like the frequency of the unseen, and I prefer to be in the channel of excitement, about the direction that I'm actually flowing in, with zero resistance or those feelings of resistance. So it literally is a shift in our attitude, which I talk about in the balance of being. It's just upcycling our attitude and just staying in the channel of gratitude, the gears, just by really getting in touch with my feelings and also my heart, and investing in the long term, the future plans, and clearing up all the cosmic karma, upcycling my relationships or my love channel to spirit. So it's kind of like I'm on this shamanic spiritual mission in a weird kind of way. That's the best way to describe it. So it's where my heart centers in this place to actually read my spiritual path with clarity. And I always get those through dreams. So it's a day where we just allow our feelings to be our beacon of light to guide us. So you really want to be honest with yourself and just open up in your own personal love channel, your heart, and weigh your options for your future with actually clear authenticity. The clarity comes through the water. The authenticity comes through nature. So today is actually one of the best days of the year for relationships, all kinds of relationships, either to end one or to start one. Just know that if you have a relationship, whatever that looks like, and it starts today, this person has a special place in your future. So if you're in a romantic relationship, it might come up as a new understanding, or maybe you have a mutual agreement, you're in alignment. So it really is a perfect day to find balance or fairness between two narratives or situations, a solution that is more fair in the story. So it's, I would say, make it a love felt day, and know that your heart will actually feel into it and know when it's right. And honestly, that's the kicker, right? How often do we tune into our feelings and our heart at the same frequency? So ultimately, just stay in the frequency and envision this new creative plan for your future. That's kind of where we're at, especially we're going to have 2 full moons in this whole season of Leo, one at the beginning at the early degrees and actually one at the end at the higher degrees. So we have this channel of creation and our intellectual processors, they're literally on. So it's this vision that's going to set the new channel of what we subscribe to. And hopefully it's the one of unconditional love. It's the essence of joy on the daily, on the day-to-day. So, you might be asking yourself, how do we achieve this? What do we do? So it has to be accompanied, or I like to call it an alternative accessory. It has to be an addition to the plan, something to add to what we want to become. Ultimately, something different in the moment, in the narrative. It's going to be like a flash of what we add to our cosmic soup is what comes to us. So you have to ask yourself, are you being authentic? And if you are, then your authenticity returns to you. And you have to be open to the change, the transformation, the transition. So we're opening up to accept this creative vision of our future, or at least create a new one, and just know that your connection to yourself is really in this delicate, sensitive space, more so than the last 2 days, I would say. So we have the conscious ability to really refine, which is metal energy, refining our responses to ourselves. So it would be like artists in a way. And, it's going to be kind of floating in by the time the sun sets and the moon rises. You're going to feel into this new narrative, especially as the moon itself crosses over what's called the galactic center. For me, it's like the God codex of the universe, the galactic universe. So it's a great day to really increase our compassion, open up our hearts in a way that it's not suffering of others, but also encouraging us to be of service to the planet through just a profound sense of our connection to the earth herself, her majesty. And spiritually, by teaching humility and finding humor within ourselves and assisting ourselves in honoring, how you really feel or what you really feel. And in doing so, it supports our intuition. It really enhances our ability to sense. So yeah, and our throat center is actually online today, probably one of my favorite centers, not my favorite color, mind you, but my favorite center. It's our authentic spiritual voice. So it's blue, any color of blue. It's the power of blue. Most people have any shade of blue. I'm kind of rare. I don't have a lot of blue. But really pick the shade that opens up your communication channel. So this is an excellent day to just muse about what you came to the planet to actually create. So if you could imagine yourself as your own little inner child, like as your childlike self, like when you were 2, say, when you were little, and, what did you want to be when, what was the, what did you want to be for in the world? What was this thing that you wanted to create or saw yourself as later in life? Little kids always have great imaginations, and we lose that connection. I don't know where, I don't know how. I was in the vortex at that time for a while, but just ask yourself what that is. And also is what you're doing in alignment with that narrative, that story, your little 2-year-old self? And are you doing anything behind the scenes in a way, in what you are doing or what you want to create? So you might need to, if you feel called, to recalibrate. And if you feel that way, go to the sun, sit outside, take in the light. So we have this yang fire sun energy kind of day, both with Leo and also with this day master that we have, this fire day master. And we're all in light. We just need to remember that we are light. We are a star. So just by allowing our feelings and our creations to literally light up our heart and be close to our heart, it's this aligned energy frequency vibration. So just protect it, take a deep breath, take a pause, and just know in your heart center, you have to kind of stop and take the pause. That's kind of when the magic kind of really starts to happen. I called in a couple different archangels today. Jophiel. Jophiel is like the beauty of God. This is literally what her name means. It's the artist inside of us. You can call on, or actually on a day today, I would pull in the beauty that is already in your life, inside and out, and just kind of develop our own inner confidence, our look, the experience of what self-love is, which is a task anyway. And ask yourself if anything you're doing on the day-to-day is really authentically in your heart space, loving to you, or you're loving to somebody else. So you can call on Jophiel to see yourself through her eyes, the eyes of truth, and any other perspective is kind of the ego. It's the false narrative. And if you slip into any kind of negativity of any kind, it doesn't even matter, you can just simply say this angelic being's name and just, think in your mind's eye, help, I need help with my ego. And you'll notice there's a pause in your thought sequence, and it's inviting us to like contemplate or muse about. That's what I always do. Muse about something different. Another archangel that came to me earlier was Gabriel. Gabriel's the strength of God, where we just know that we have this essence inside all of us, the God Codex, where God is our strength. It's this representation of feminine forces in creation. So we need this creativity. And you can invoke or send an intention to her if you need any assistance with finding your personal creative venue, whether it's writing, it could be arts, literature, even public speaking, which I wish I knew about this archangel about 30 years ago or so. That's kind of when I started speaking publicly. But I'm excited about the cards of today. I have a couple. Let's go here. So I chose from two different decks today. I have the Ghost Dance, and then later I have, it's called the Seven of Wands. So what's curious about the Ghost Dance, which is pretty fun, then go to your 3-year-old self if you can't remember your 2-year-old self. Just go to whatever self you can remember. That's what I would do, because that's where your story is. So back to the Ghost Dance. So the Ghost Dance, the American Indians united the spirit of living with those of our ancestors to actually bring peace to our world. So when our ancestors are honored, they bring harmony to us and through us. And oftentimes when we hold them responsible for all that's wrong with us today, they kind of give us this lingering, haunting feeling. So ancestralization is a way where we can literally honor the spirits of our ancestors and actually receive both their lessons and also their gifts. And so this actually includes honoring all of our past lives as well. All those stories, because that's kind of what we go through to undo our entanglements is kind of how I see that. So with this card, we're really being invited to go visit our ancestors. They have a message for us. Generally, it's always a message of healing, some story. They might have some powerful medicine even to offer us. So it would really be an amazing day to create a sacred moment at an altar. I have ancestralized my family. I did that with Malidoma. It's a process, I'm not going to lie. But, I leave a candle lit for my ancestors at my shrine, my altar. You could light a candle yourself at your own altar and just allow their wisdom to kind of infuse into your beingness. Especially, at the stage in life, just being done with any narrative that's repeating the tragedy. So all of the stories and all of the negative things. So it's really time to step into the abundance that's actually offered to us. You could even create your own abundance bag and receive those gifts of those that have actually literally come before us and actually write a new story in our life, in our narrative. So this card really actually feels pretty right for a day like today. So like I said, I have an ancestors altar. I leave a candle lit 24/7. Actually, I got to go buy more because I'm out of the 2 colors I use the most. So if you feel trapped in this vicious cycle of nostalgia, maybe you have a story from your youth you can't get over, or different opportunities where you felt you might have missed out on something, it's actually time to really create that altar for your ancestors. And really all you have to do is collect a few photos of them, light some incense, maybe offer some sage, open a window in your house, and you're doing you're doing a pulling in and a pushing away. So you're releasing them to their destiny out into the winds and the lightnings and nature and the air. But also, on a day like today, somebody from our past, you might want to be a little bit weary about. It could be any relationship from a past lifetime even, because, it's not just people that we have loved or also people we have hurt. They kind of have a way of reappearing in our lives. So there is, we're done with the learning process. We're done with that space. We don't want to bring that in anymore. So just I would just flick it away. I haven't had anyone from my past show up, but I've had other people where past loves or narratives or stories are kind of repeating. So you literally have to just let it go to the ghost dance is kind of how I see this card. Now, the other card I picked is the 7 of Wands, which this comes from my Threads of Fate deck. It's really hard to take a picture of it, so I kind of have to change it a little bit. But since we are actually upcycling our future to the one that we have, this card is like the imagination to bring it into reality. So I really thought this was fitting, Threads of Fate, fitting. But the wands themselves, they represent fire, which was our day master, the 4 pillar element of the day, which is so exciting. Inspiration, creativity, energy, the raw, passionate kind, and unfiltered excitement. So really, it's perfect for the energy of the day today and, reality. So I would say the 7 of Wands is really calling us to stand in our ground, in our beingness, into our fire. It's, it's all about maintenance of success or also building of something. And sometimes when we build things, they have their own challenges, but we continue to upkeep after the launch or the initial accomplishments. I'm always upcycling. Even when things feel like they're falling apart, I still stay on my thread because I just have to flick stuff away. That's kind of what I do. It's always something, even when the internet crashes on me sometimes when I'm doing these. But just knowing, success comes with competition as well. There's always people nudging at us. They kind of want to know what we're doing. So, you kind of have to expect those kinds of things in the physical dimension, and you kind of have to stay a few steps ahead of the thread of the pack or whatever that looks like. So the challenge with this card is it also presents different opportunities as well. So it's carrying the stimulating vibrational effect. And when that clears out the stagnant energies or the negativity, so any of those challenges that can really bolster within ourselves, provides more motivation or action to literally power through it. It just gets shit done. It's the shift card in a way. So what happens when that happens is those complications, those little gnats that kind of get eating at us, and the conflicts, they're almost an afterthought. Like, I don't even climb onto that thread. And I know sometimes people do. So when that happens, there's also a seed that gets sparked in the movement. But this card is also all about rising to the occasion. It's not so much about the occasion itself, but it's the rise of the occasion. So it's really calling us to commit to ourselves, despite, you know, you might have some insecurities inside, but it's just not the time to indulge into the negatives, any of the what ifs, but actually to be more curious about all of the wonders of the world, those childlike wonders, and everything that we authentically are truly capable of if our heart's in line with it. So we can just use movement itself actually to cultivate those feelings that we want. You know, it'd be like adding some power moves to get you through your days. That would be like any kind of exercise. You know, I lift weights. Burpees aren't my thing. My trainer, he would tell you otherwise, but I really can't stand doing a burpee. It's terrible. And it really just authentically, it just doesn't matter what the movement is. It's just as long as you feel empowered while you're doing it. That's what the movement is. If it gives you some good empowerment, then keep on keeping on. Some affirmations to say. Oh, but actually, you know what? I forgot the seed sound of the day, or I almost forgot. So because our throat center is online, the sound would be heem. And you can chant that a few times to get your communication channel to pull up into the creativity. So it's heem. So it's the E as in sleep, if you need to know how to say that. It's E. So use that for a day like today, especially, you know, you can pull it in through your throat center as you chant it, and then release it out your heart center, or go back through your heart and release it out your throat. It kind of works either way. So just do what you're called to. You know, there's not really rules on how you breathe through a chakra. That's just, you know, codex or whatever. But some affirmations to get us on the way. So one would be like something like, I'm feeling into all of my visions, the scenes or the scenery, to see where my heart truly authentically belongs. You know, even just accepting what can't change right now in the moment and opening up to what you can change for yourself in your own story. That's kind of a, you know, a float into. Another one would be like, I am creating the future I desire with the power of imagination. And I was thinking through love. So the power of love through the imagination, or some corridor like that. Myself, I am opening up to receiving solutions from the realm, the ascended master realm, or the angelic realm, the God channel. That's kind of an afterthought, but you can too. You can bring in messages from other dimensions. And just remember, you know, to hold space on what your vision is of a loving future looks like, because we all have a different vision of what even self-love looks like on that narrative. But with all of that, it wasn't too long. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking forever, and then I look at the clock and it's like 30 minutes. It's not quite an hour. So InShalla, Ashe, blessings to you. And as always, thanks for showing up.